in the zone to be. From a yin to my yang to my yang to Z. Put a grin on my chin when you come to me. Cause I'll win, I'm a one of a kind, and I'll bring death to the place you're about to be. Another river of blood running under my feet. Forged in a fire lit long ago. Stand next to me, you'll never stand alone. I'm last to leave, but the first to go. Lord, make me dead before you make me old. I feed on the fear of the devil inside of the enemy faces in my sight. Aim with a hand, shoot with a mind, kill with a heart like Arctic ice.
I am a soldier and I'm marching on.
I am a soldier and I'm marching on.
I am a warrior, this is my song.
I am a warrior and this is my song. I'm bask in the glow of the rising war. Lay waste to the ground of an enemy shore.
I read you Lima Charlie, loud and clear.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Stew and the Nun tonight, Lima Charlie. And I want to thank you for joining me on this 17th episode of this special series. This one means a lot tonight, and I think you'll see why if you don't already know. I've been working on this for several days now, and it's still hard to talk about, even though I've been watching and listening to it, putting it together. So this is as you know, for those that maybe don't know, this is your first time watching Lima Charlie. The point of this is an idea from our producer, Rob, to capture these stories from the battlefront, to capture these war stories, if you would, good, bad, or indifferent, funny, sad, whatever they may be. And we started with just GWAT, and then we decided we're going to open it up to all combat vets. There's not many, obviously, left in World War II, and even all those from Korea and Vietnam are quickly going away and leaving us. One of those is my dad. He passed in December of 22 and left us at the young age of 86. And, 22-year Army veteran, retired Master Sergeant, Special Forces, most of his career, a couple combat tours in Vietnam. And in 2018, my oldest son, who's a combat medic and veteran himself of Afghanistan, sat down and interviewed to capture some of these stories from my dad. And well, obviously we had no thought we would ever do this show. So he captured these stories and just kind of shared them with me a while back. And I've had this idea to put this show together, and kind of in light with Father's Day being on Sunday, and with, the Army 250th birthday being Saturday, the day before, it kind of seemed like the right time to do it. So this is my son interviewing my dad in 2018, when my dad still could remember a lot of stuff about his time in Vietnam, and you'll hear it. And it's good. It's funny. There's some serious parts, but my dad did not talk a lot about. Anyone that knows my dad, close to the family, he did not talk a lot about combat or his time in war at all. It was never something really shared. He never really shared to me until I got my later years of high school, and even then it was very limited. So this was one of the most open times he ever was. This was the most I've ever heard him talk about anything. So yeah, it means a lot. Still hard to talk about, but I hope you enjoy it. The disclaimer is there's nothing classified. Back when it may have been, but a lot's been declassified. And I've obviously listened to this time and time again. There's nothing he discusses that is, but even if so, he's long gone now. So, but he doesn't talk any particulars, and they've pretty much declassified most of the stuff that Special Forces did in Laos and Cambodia and all that. So, no worries there. So with that, I would give you interview of late retired Master Sergeant Bobby Steward.
French, Vietnamese,
in his voice.
Cajun, Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
I went to City of Monterey for Spanish.
So you speak French, Vietnamese.
Vietnamese, Cajun, that's what they speak. When they talk French, they speak French in Vietnam.
You mean Creole?
But Creole is Creole French.
Okay, Creole.
That's what they speak down in Louisiana.
And you speak also Cambo too, right? Or Thai?
No, or Thai, yeah. But Not none of them fluent. Probably speak more Spanish than anything.
And Spanish too.
Yes, but Spanish, and it took 3 months of Spanish.
So how many languages do you speak total?
Probably 5. Spent about 18 years in special warfare. 6 different special forces groups. Training group, this 2 tours in a 7th group, 2 tours in the 5th group, toured to Fort Bragg in the 5th, and a tour in the 5th in Vietnam
So you
after
were
they went over there.
5th group,
5th group at Bragg and also at Vietnam.
and you were 10th group too, right?
And 10th
10th, right?
10th group at Fort Devon.
And what else?
46 SF company in Thailand.
46th?
We had a company over there, yeah, 46.
Thailand. Okay.
In Central America, all our instruction we done in Spanish.
Okay. And Panama?
Panama was 3rd or 7th. Panama.
Okay.
That was another tour in the 7th.
36.
I was in a battalion at Bragg and a battalion in Panama.
And what year was Panama? Or what years?
Panama, we went down 73, come back 77.
73 through 77? Okay.
Yeah.
And the 2 tours in Vietnam?
Once Vietnam, once Thailand.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But out of Thailand, we launched across the fence on classified shit. Spent a year in Thailand. It was a company.
Okay. And where in Thailand? What city?
Our headquarters in a town called Lo Puri.
Lo Puri?
Yeah, but I was in an A camp out. But that was our headquarters. Lo Puri. LOPURI, I think.
Okay.
Puri,
So I actually
Thailand.
spelled it. That was pretty funny.
Lo Puri.
Thailand. Okay. And you were there for almost a year, right?
I was there we're in Thailand for a year, yeah.
Okay. And
We
you're
worked with different countries out of Thailand. We kind of jumped the fence a little bit, you know.
Mhm.
Where we weren't supposed to be.
So these were doing missions into Vietnam or into Cambodia and Laos and stuff like that, right?
Out of Vietnam, yeah. We weren't supposed to be there either.
Okay.
I was sitting on the Cambodian border about 2 clicks off, so the maps, we used the old French maps on purpose because they didn't define the border. So we kind of crossed over a little bit because they didn't show the border.
okay.
That was our cover. And our map didn't show no border.
Okay. So you guys were using the French maps?
They were using French maps, yeah, it didn't show no border.
Is any of this still classified?
Probably is.
The Cambodia stuff and the Thai stuff, that's still probably classified?
Probably, yeah.
And what was
I've
your
never tried to put it in a book form, stories or nothing, anything about it. Some of my friends have been on operations where they got DSCs, a Medal of Honor, or whatever, and then they later wrote a book. Whether or not they got in trouble about it, I don't know.
this is really
But we were sitting right on the border, so we just kind of fudged, you know, and went across. That was the most interesting thing, is that Halo wings, because I was qualified to go to 40 grand.
okay.
I never went to 40 grand, but I'll give you a little Halo story though. It was about 33,000 off the isthmus in Panama, and we were making a Halo drop, and there's a bad spot. The jump master made a bad spot, and you go out of the back of the tailgate at 130, and you're sucking oxygen. You're on the main oxygen console, and we're at about 32 or 33 or something. And so we get ready to jump, and we jump, and there's a bad spot. And so about 6 or 8 of us, we're about 4 miles out off the isthmus. And if you look it up on the map, you'll find it's the most shark-infested area in the world, one of them. And I just seen that damn movie Jaws. And so, Lordy of mercy, I'm waiting. The Air Force coming out with a little RB-15 to pick us up. Wet parachute, main, reserve, and all that, so it weighed about 10 tons. And here you got to climb in that little wooden boat. And now you're sitting about this far out of the water. That was a hair raiser there. I had enough of that Halo jump at the end of the isthmus, I'll tell you.
How
After we wound up in the drink.
How low do you pull the chute?
Oh, we pull about 4 grand.
At 4,000 feet?
Yeah, we try to pull it about 4.
Okay.
But you make that decision. You want a 10-minute bailout bottle, and if you're free falling 2 minutes or 3 minutes, say at 30 grand or 40 grand, you got 10 minutes, and once you come off that main console, you got 10 minutes to get on the ground, to get down to opening altitude.
How long does it usually take you from, like, say, 32,000 feet to get down?
2 minutes,
Really that long?
2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, but you got 10-minute bailout bottle. Say if you went out 30 grand or 40 grand, say if you're pulling about close to 3 minutes, but you still got 7 minutes spare.
And do you have an altimeter? Is that what that is?
No, you got a altimeter. You got an altimeter, and you got your bailout bottle, and you'd say
What's the bailout bottle?
a bailout bottle's about this big around, oxygen bottle, and it goes inside your backpack here. It's a zipper back there, and it goes in there.
Okay.
And when you stand up in the aircraft, say C-130 or 41 or whatever, you disconnect from that main console. And that's when the man says stand up, just like you do on a static line jump. And you shuffle to the rear, and you go ahead and pop the lollipop, which is at the bailout bottle. Call it lollipop, it's red and white, where you can feel it and grab it, but pull the lollipop, and that fires that bailout bottle, and that oxygen hits you in the face. You know, and so then you're standing up, and you shuttle to the rear, you're gone. You get a green light. They have 2 commands: stand up, to the rear, go.
And how many free fall jumps did you complete?
Oh shoot, I don't know. I'd have to look at my jump
Yeah, I
log.
thought it was around 650.
I don't know. I'd have to look at the jump log.
Was that actual free fall or static?
Most of yours free fall, right?
I got them. I logged all my halos right on top of my static line jumps. I logged them same book.
Were you doing some like the same day, like multiple jumps the same day or something?
Or sometimes get 2 in a day, like a halo drop. You may get 2 in the same day. You may get 2 at 20 grand or 30 grand in the same day. And if you can cram in 2 that day, that's good, because more the merrier. In halo school, you try to get 2 every day in halo school. But there you start out at 6 grand, you go 6 grand, 8 grand, 10 grand, 12 grand, you start going up. You try to nail about 2 jumps each jump until you get up there at 20 grand, 30 grand. And I never hit 40 grand. But I always want to go to 40, but I never got there. 40 grand would be a ride.
Yeah.
You know, because you're sucking oxygen, and it's you're on a high, boy, sucking that oxygen, and you just want to go in. And you're falling.
I mean, it's higher than Mount Everest.
You're falling. You know, you max out depending upon your body weight, but you're falling 120, 130 miles an hour.
Yeah, because gravity is
You know.
negative 9.8 meters per
So
second.
and then you got your rucksack, and you got your weapon and all that on you, and then your rucksack's between your legs, and you're coming out of the sky 120, 130. Now, if you're a heavier guy, you're going to come out heavier. You know, it depends upon how you move your arms, flying yourself like a jet plane or not. If you want to go forward, you track forward. You roll back into a track, and try to catch all the air you can on your body to get forward movement. You know.
How much gear would the gear
With
weigh?
the ruck and the parachute and the reserve chute, I got no idea.
Over.
Weapons,
We got your weapon that's tied to your leg,
ammo.
and you got your ammo, and you got your ruck. You got a 75, 80 pound rucksack, and then you got your main, and then you got your reserve.
So well over 100 pounds, obviously.
Oh, you got more than that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you usually rolling like a M16A1, or are you guys rolling like M14s or something?
No, we jump M4. We jumped, or AR-15, just like an M4.
Okay.
But back then, we called them Car 15s. Back then, telescopic stock on them. Car 15s with a 30 round mag, usually about 10 of them.
Now in the Playboy picture, you actually have I looked at it, you got a M1 Grand with a pistol grip, right?
Yeah, I modified it. So you can, in SF, you can do what you want to. And I took a hacksaw and sawed off the stock. It made a little pistol out of it. And if I'd looked at it real close, I'd probably went to jail. But you modify and do what you want to do.
A lot of guys are doing that over there.
Oh yeah, they do what they want to do.
And you were
You had
weapons.
the option. I had an M16 there on the wall next to my bunk. I had a Car 15. I had that carbine. But that carbine was nice, short for close combat. I sawed the barrel off. I just sawed the barrel and right past the stacking swivel. And I sawed off the stock and I made a pistol out of it. Magazine of 30 rounds. 30 cal.
30 cal, that's the M1 Grand, is a 30
Yeah.
cal?
No, I didn't carry no M1 Grand. Too heavy. M1 Grand. That
What
thing.
what shot 30 cal?
That little carbine.
What
Was
carbon?
it M1?
M1 or M2 carbine. M1 is not fully automatic, but you can take an M2, you got a selector.
Okay, so the one in the picture was an M1, right?
Yeah, no, M2 carbine. I just sawed the barrel off and sawed the stock off. Plus, I inherited, the weapons man is in charge of all the weapons in the camp. The camp was overrun. So all the weapons were left there, got killed or whatever. All the excess M16s, they belonged to me, all of them. So then I had to go to the train and turn in all them 16s that belonged to somebody else. So we had all the weapons we wanted.
What camp was that got overrun?
A camp I was in,
The name of it?
yeah. I was in 3 camps, all overrun.
What were the names of these camps?
The first camp got overrun before I got there, the camp named Budop, B-U-D-O-P,
Boot up.
as in Footlong, Providence. Well, the other one's a B team, but that camp was the one on the border. That's the one that's in Playboy magazine. That was in Budop,
Boot up.
yeah, B-U-D-O-P. That's where the Playmate came.
And that was 65?
No, it got overrun before I got there. I got there in '65. It got overrun 2 or 3 months before I got there. It got overrun. That's 404 hanging on the wire. That's why we got a lot of VC skulls sitting around in that camp, and I got a lot of pictures of them VC skulls.
Mm-hmm.
I sent Carol home one in my duffel bag with all my gear. I later gave it to my team sergeant in Fayetteville for his man cave. I used to use it to hold my candle at night when I'm reading a book. So we had skulls
It's
sitting
romantic.
everywhere. I got pictures. I didn't put them in on Facebook or anywhere. I got VC skulls sitting everywhere.
Romantic.
Yeah, it is. I didn't realize that time eBay, and I could have marketed them dudes on eBay, you know.
I
Hey,
don't think you can get away with it now.
I could have got big bucks out of them. You know, tell them what they bring on eBay.
Yeah.
We had 440 of them dudes hanging on the wire. Now down at one camp I was in, what they done, they took a caterpillar, and they had so many bodies out there, they just covered them over with a caterpillar and made mountains out of them. B team I was at got overrun before I got there, and the B team is real small, and that was down in Song Bay, a place called Song Bay, right south of us. That was the B team. There, Charlie got right inside the bar and shot holes in the freezer and refrigerator, so we painted Purple Hearts on that refrigerator and freezer. We gave them a Purple Heart. But they got right into the B team. That happened before I got there. Another camp called Donskoy was overrun, where Charlie Q. Williams got his Medal of Honor. That got overrun too. It happened before I got there.
Okay.
The best time to arrive in a camp is after they overrun, not when they're overrun.
No, you don't
You don't
want to
want to
be
be
there
there
overrun.
when you got 2 regiments of 3, I think 3 regiments. 3 regiments hit Donskoy, they hit Song Bay, and they hit Budop, and they went into Cambodia. 3 regiments, and regiments 1,000, 1,500 each. So it was a shoot 'em up battle down there.
And how big are the SF teams that are on the base?
12-man, all your teams are 12-man teams. 12 to 14, because you can have, you may have a couple of, you usually run a team leader, a captain, and a XO, a lieutenant. And that gives them the option to take the 12-man team and split them into 2 6-man teams. So a captain can have 5 men, lieutenant can have 5 men, so it's 2 6-man teams. That 6-man team can do the same thing as a 12-man team. 2 weapons people, 1 here, 1 there. 2 demo, 2 medics, 2 commo, and 2 engineers. And that covers all the MOSs. So you got a 12-man team. You got 2 of each. You got heavy weapons, light weapons, but they're school trained in both. So I was school trained in 11B and 11C.
So your
And-
identifier is weapons.
Yeah, I was 11B, 11C, and 11F. 11F is Operation Intelligence. That's your team sergeant. The 12-man A team is always there to split them in half.
Now the firefights that you were primarily in, how many would you say per? Was it pretty sporadic, or was it like for us it was really sporadic? It was maybe once every week that we get there.
And Budop, we had the highest kill ratio in Vietnam of all the A teams, several months running. When they do, they come out and bring you a turkey. So they bring us out and drop us off a turkey. We had highest kill ratio for the month, KIA. wasn't in the habit of capturing prisoners. Some of the teams captured. We wasn't big on capturing. We was big on killing.
Okay.
But we had usually not publicizing it, but they would come out and they'd bring a turkey out to the team. But we had, I think, 3 months or 4 months running it. Either Dongaswai or Buddha, we had the highest kill ratio. You're competing with the other teams, you know. If you're out there doing your job, you're killing people.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the highest kill ratio going 3 or 4 months. We had some pretty unique people on our team.
Mm-hmm.
One good friend, Sam Allen, that got killed. I got a picture of him and I together, and later he went back on another tour, and he was up in a camp called Play Me. And the sniper got him from outside. The sniper got him and killed him. The sniper killed him from outside the wall.
Really?
And he was a medic. 12-man A team, and we got 300 to 400 strikers, either Chinese nuns, Cambodian Camisarai, Vietnamese, and we usually have a Vietnamese Special Forces, which is Look Loon Dog Bit in Vietnamese. We have an SF kid Vietnamese team with us, which they thought they was in charge, but they wasn't. We controlled all the money, all the aircraft, everything. They were like
Okay.
they were like our sisters, but we run the show.
Yeah.
I may have a Vietnamese counterpart over there, but he wasn't in charge.
So you trained them sort of the same way they do the ADA.
We trained the SF team, the SF, the Vietnamese SF, but our main fighting force, we got 400 Cambodians in that camp, or 400 Chinese nuns, or yards. We work with yards too. We have mountain yard tribes people. You know, they wear little loincloths, you know, about half naked.
Really?
Oh yeah. We had mountain yards. We had Chinese. Our best fighters over there were Chinese.
Mountain yards are Laotian mountain
Yeah.
yards.
Okay.
We had Lao. We had Cambodia. It depends on what camp you're in.
Do you guys have any Gurkhas?
No,
Those are British.
They're awesome.
the British got them Gurkhas, but the Chinese nuns I thought was the best fighter.
And what were they outfitted with? Like what kind of weapon?
We'd issue them BARs and M1 Grands. We didn't give them no M16s. We give them the BARs. They're heavy. We give them the A6s and A4s, machine gun, 30 cal. BARs. We didn't give them no.
No 60s
M6.
or anything?
Huh?
No 60s?
We give them 60 mortars.
I was talking about the M60. The
No, we didn't give them M60. We give them 60 mortars.
What's a 60 mortar?
60 millimeter mortar.
Oh, okay.
About that big around, about that long. You can handheld and shoot them on that little base plate. You hold that down there between your legs. You gotta drop one in, or else you reach out and trigger it and shoot it. Don't put it on top of your foot. You know.
I don't think you'd want to shoot it by hand
M60s,
either.
we didn't
No,
give
they're
them.
meant to be handheld.
Are they?
Yeah, they have a trigger on them. They're hand to use.
Oh, you got a tripod. You get a tripod or the hand little base plate. We didn't take tripod to the field.
Mhm.
We take that little base plate. And we have several of them boats carrying ammo.
Now, these are mostly dismounted patrols, or are they mounted too as well?
We stayed away from. That's why we got people killed going up and down that gravel road out there.
So these are
You
mounted?
break out of your camp in the jungle that way, and you go 500 meters, and you start moving around here to where you're going. If you break out the road out there on that gravel road and start going that way, you can run in an ambush. So they'd never know which way we're coming out of that camp. They may see us come out and go that way, and they may call ahead and say we're coming that way, but we're going to divert.
Oh yeah, always you got to change up
We
everything.
have made a few helicopter insertions, but we kind of stayed away from that. We have made some. And I pulled dumb shit like a captain and team sergeant get out there about 50, 60 clicks out. They call up. They want ammo, resupply, they want bullets, beans, bullets, all that shit. Water, everything. Worst day of my life. So I got to go over and get the medic and have him to drive the M38 Jeeps, done been through the battle, shot full of holes. And I'm out up a 30 cal A6 on there and about 4,000 rounds on there. And so I got to go resupply that unit down there. 2 Americans with an operation out there 40, 50 clicks away. And knowing that's ambush alley. So I recon by fire. If you're sitting out on that road, here I come, look out, because I'm putting some shit out there. And I hosed all the way down. That's the scariest time in my life. But I know Charlie's out there.
Yeah.
And here I'm going to go out there and run right through him with me and one more American.
And that's a single truck too, right?
No, Jeep. M38 Jeep.
Well, that's what I meant. Really, just one
Yeah,
truck though.
M38 Jeep. It already been through the battle and didn't have no brakes on it. You know, no brakes, shot full of holes.
How'd you stop it?
Slow it down by gearing it down, shut the engine off.
And that had a 30
And then we got to
machine gun.
come back after we resupplied them. We got to come back, and they just know we went through there, because I just shot up the area.
Oh man.
And hey, here you coming. You know,
I'd be
so
more worried about the way back. Than
I
going
save
back.
enough ammo for coming back. And I never again call. I told that team sergeant, that captain, when they got back, don't worry about me. I get out there. I got all the shit I can carry. You ain't got to worry about resupplying me. I got my food, I got my water, and I got my ammo. I'm not going to call you. But that young captain, we just got him in, and he about dumb as a jar of dirt. And I got to go resupply him. The team sergeant's out there. So I got given that mission. I said, oh shit.
You would
I
think
didn't like that.
this guy was brand new out of
Out of somewhere. If I'm on an operation, you better believe I got all the ammo and water I can carry. You ain't got to worry about me.
So did you personally do any dismounted patrols at all?
Yeah, done a lot of them.
That's all we
I
did.
dismounted on 10Rs.
We didn't do mounted patrols. There's no
Yeah.
such thing as being
Oh, really?
We
No,
don't.
There's no.
That's the only.
Besides like tanks and stuff, right? With
No.
Marines.
This is the only mounted patrol I ever went on was that M38 Jeep,
Really?
and I didn't go on no more. I go on 10R patrol.
What's a 10R?
That's a jungle boots.
The size of his boot.
Oh,
Jungle boots.
what would you usually carry on your patrol?
Anything I wanted.
Okay, weapons first.
Huh?
Weapon.
I always had a 45. I slept with a 45 round in the chamber, stuck down in my drawers right here, and that's where I slept, right there. And it's laying right there, stuck right down in my pants, cocked, loaded, ready to go with safety on. In 1911, May 1 there.
Okay. And rifle mostly?
Yeah, I'd carry carbines. So sometimes I'd carry M16, sometimes I'd carry Car 15.
You have a Thompson for a while.
Yeah, and Thompson too. All the weapons we captured, I had a Thompson. I didn't have but 2 magazines for it though. You know, that wasn't too good.
Heavy
Right.
45 ammo.
Yeah, we had plenty of 45 ammo. And it's your choice. Take what you want and what you want to carry. You know, you want 500 rounds, take 500. You want 1,000, you can get them over there. You hump them.
Which one was your favorite weapon to have on patrol?
So what?
Which one was your favorite one to have on patrol?
Anyone that worked.
Okay.
If it worked, it'd go. I'd have carried an M60, it's too damn heavy.
Yeah, I wouldn't carry an M60.
I had a Bode carrying one of them.
Yeah.
He carried an M60.
What's
But he couldn't fire it, I could, you know. In SF, you could carry any type weapon you want.
okay.
And if you got 4 or 5 of them on the wall, pick out the one you want to carry and carry it. And when we capture weapons, you take it, sell it. We didn't sell it, but we'd trade it off. We go down to my American units in Saigon on a chow run. You can take a VC weapon and get you a deuce and a half load of chow and not pay a penny. And everybody keeps all their ration money that month because we just went and got all the chow. So we traded a lot of weapons. We traded a lot of, we had Papa Son making crossbows. I'd take crossbows down to the American units. Crossbow, go see the mess sergeant, come back a 3/4 load or a deuce and a half load of chow with that authentic crossbow. With them little short bamboo arrows.
You tell them to get them from a VC or something?
No, we just, they want a crossbow. The weapon, we just take a weapon that we get from Charlie, that's what we can get, and we just go trade it. And all them mess sergeants, they want a VC weapon.
What would you do with the flag and the? What would you
Trade
do?
them, we trade them.
Or how would you? What would you do to the flags before?
Oh, we scratch them up, put chicken blood on them, you know. Make them raggedy looking, put blood on them.
Weren't you having them made or getting them brand new?
Oh, we had Pop Son making them right down the street. You know,
And you put some chicken blood on there and
Yeah,
tear them
put
up so
blood
you
on
got them
there.
in battle.
if we didn't get none in the battle, we make our own. We had Pop Son in a local village making them. But we blood them up and ragged them up, and they bring top loads of chow.
Now, what was the enemy usually having for weapons? Are they regulated like one type of weapon, or do they use like an assortment of different ones? Yeah.
He'd knock off American units. They got M16, M6s.
I meant like as the Viet Cong. Like what was their? I know
They carried him AKs.
they carried AK-47s.
AK-47s. They got the single shot. They got the fully automatic.
And you didn't like the AK?
They got two different versions of that AK.
I'm
That
saying
Kalashnikov.
you didn't like it though, right?
Oh, it's a good weapon. It's a good weapon as long as
Well,
it works.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be cleaned as much as the M16. Though.
We got British stems from Charlie. I had one of them.
Okay.
I had a Mark III stem, 9mm, but I couldn't find ammo for it. I couldn't get ammo for it. See, you had to go to one of them British units to get ammo.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have 9mm in our system.
Yeah, it was all
What they
45.
issued us was the 45 and the M16.
Mm-hmm.
But I got one of them from Charlie. I got an M3A1, and I forget. I got a basic load of chow for that.
How close were your engagements usually? Typically, how far away? Like,
Ours would vary. It'd vary all the time. And sometimes you couldn't even see the incoming.
Yeah.
In a jungle environment, when you got thick jungle,
it's so dense.
sometimes you can't tell the distance. But one thing we had was that radio handset, and that bring in the Word of God. We bring in napalm, we bring in fast movers, we bring in all that shit. That radio handset is the greatest thing going. And there's always a bunch of F4s or something sitting up there ready to drop their load.
What's an F4?
F4 Phantom jet. I would say if you got a flight of F4s or something off one of them carriers or something, and they had no target, they ready to drop. They just couldn't go drop anywhere.
Okay, so they were like you guys as A10s then, right?
Oh, we had A10s too.
Oh, did you? Okay.
We had A10. I like that A10. And the A10 put it on them.
So they pretty much just waited up in the air to
I like
take
A10.
contact.
A10, we had the F4s, we had the F105s, jets, we had the F105s, F4s, we had the F16.
Now, was your camp ever overrun when
All
you were
three
there?
of them before I got there.
I mean, but while you were there,
No. That's bad habit.
okay.
Bad habit. You don't want to be there when that shit happens. That'll
Did,
mess up your day.
Oh, that'll mess up more than your day, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
You don't want to be in camp when it's overrun.
okay. Did they ever attack the base or anything like that?
Well, yeah, we get probed all the time. You get probed, but see, we got guards all night long out there on the wall, even with an operation out, and they come over and probing your camp. But if you got 2, 3 regiments working in your core area, and they're close to Cambodia, they can come over and hit, send over a small unit, come over and probe on your camp. Even if it's H&I, they come over and probe on you, and they pull back into Cambodia. But see, plus our troops, bad habit, them our strikers sitting out there smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie, you see that shit 500 meters
you can
away.
see that cherry blossom, yeah.
They lighten up a joint out there or whatever. And so a sniper out there in that jungle, wherever, hey, I see a fireball there, I'm going to shoot at it. You know,
Yeah.
That's dumb.
And I don't know how you guys did it without nods or without body armor, because
Hey, but them strikers, they get out there, supposed to be on guard duty, you go checking, you go around and check the wall 2 or 3 times during the night, check, make sure everybody's alert, go around checking, and the dudes are all sleeping.
yeah.
You know, hung up between 2 sandbags or whatever, and they hang up there, and they got a hammock, they tie it up, and that dude's asleep. And every night you gotta check that wall, check that wall, check that wall. So the weapons man out there checking that wall. And maybe test firing the A6s and A4s off that wall. Let them know we're still there.
Yeah.
Go around test fire. Every night we test fire all 60s. Say in an A camp, you may have probably 30 A6s or A4s on the wall. A good 30 of them.
Okay.
Test fire every one of them. That's the responsibility of the weapons man. Every night. You check every one of them. They function. Make sure they got a basic load of ammo. And then you later, who's on guard duty, maybe it's his turn to go out there and check at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. Then somebody else go out there and check. You go around and check. Tell people, keep them awake.
Okay.
You don't, you go out there and they're sleeping.
Now, Grandpa, your first firefight, the very first one that you were in, was that in Vietnam?
Yeah.
How old were you then?
What, 29?
Okay.
About 29.
29 years old, first firefight.
Yeah.
Okay. And you were E5?
I think I was E5.
E5?
Yeah.
And the first firefight, how long were you there before that happened in the country?
2 weeks. What we do, we rotate. We rotate on the 18.
Mhm.
Say, me and Troy on operation today. You've got another operation tomorrow. The next day, you and somebody else, and you rotate to 12 people.
Okay.
You know, two Americans at a time. At least 2 Americans. You got 100 Bodes or 100 Chinese or 100 whatever you got. You got 100 of those, and you're in command. And one of you's on that radio.
Mhm.
And that radio brings in God. It brings in medevacs. It brings in resupply, fast movers. You know, that brings in the world. That's why they love them fast movers coming in there and taking care of the business. But you had well, I have had 2 or 3 air assaults I went in on, but not very often. We'll take a company on air assault.
So your first firefight, the very first one that you were in, can you explain a little bit about that? Like what happened? Do you know how long it lasted?
Pick a number. I don't
An
know.
hour or two, maybe?
No, it didn't last that long.
Okay.
Sometimes it's short and sometimes it's long.
Okay. Did you guys take casualties for that one?
The Buddhist religion is cremation.
Yeah.
So I just lost one of my Buddhas over here. One of my Buddhas. Okay, if you're a friend of his, you lay a piece of wood on him because we're fixing to cremate his butt. So each one of his friends lay a piece of wood, and we take that 95 octane and pour on him, and we light him up. That's the Buddhist religion.
Yeah.
Cremation.
Yeah.
So if you're not a friend of his, don't put no wood over there.
Hmm.
So I cremated quite a few. I got pictures where we're cremating them. You know, you see the wood piled up, and we light them. And they get in the firefight, and you lose 4 or 5 bows or something. You cremate them. We made a habit of not. We got a reputation when to take prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
I have been on teams where they take prisoners. I really don't go along with that. That's a no-no. If we're going to do battle and exterminate, let's exterminate. But I have been on an operation where they take prisoners. And I got pictures of them prisoners sitting on the ground.
Mhm.
But I have got prisoners where they all lay on the ground too. But they got 18 holes shot in them. But some of them teams, they take, or if they trying to find out some information, something, they may take prisoners. But I wasn't big on taking prisoners.
Yeah, I mean, there's always intelligence you can find from prisoners
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Well, they may find something, they may not.
You can
But,
find out troop movements, stuff like
Some
that.
teams I've been on, they'd take some,
Yeah.
but I wasn't big on it.
And the medics.
I was big on getting that free turkey for the month. Hey, it's a treat. They bring that turkey out to you. Here's a kicker. Maybe once a month or whatever. Here come a chaplain in a helicopter. Boop, 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 boop. Come out to our camp and hold service. We have service and everything. And we got a Catholic priest. He sets him up a bottle of wine over there, and he's drinking and drinking. He hadn't offered nobody to drink lately. He knocked off a bottle of wine holding the service. As a Catholic.
Mhm.
He didn't share it with nobody. Hey, the dude comes to our camp. If he's Catholic, we know he's got a bottle of wine.
Mhm.
He didn't share it. Here's all these GIs would like a glass of wine.
Now your tour was a full year, right?
Huh?
Your tour was a full year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Marines are what? 6 months? Marines, they were 6 months?
I got no idea how to associate with them.
Okay.
They had a different base, a different world. They didn't speak the same language.
Yeah.
They didn't associate with special forces. The only one associated with us, Force Recon. If we worked with them, we would work with them.
Okay.
We put them in some of our projects. We had special projects over there. There's a lot of different special projects.
And they're mostly like LURPs, right?
Well, deep penetration, assassination, or whatever. But way across the border up north, they'd do a prisoner snatch.
Mhm.
They go into a prisoner snatch. They want him alive because they want to talk. Or they go up there and they do an assassination on, say, a general or something, and take him out. And just go in there and grease him right there. We go deep penetration with a project called Delta Project. We first named it Project Delta and then later Delta Project, and now at Bragg I think they call it Delta Project now. They call it Delta Force now. But that's the offshoot. The name started out as Delta Project, and we had Omega. We had that's another classified project, and we had cross border.
Okay.
These are all cross border.
And what is MAG-SOG-V? What is that?
That's an offshoot. It started out as Delta Project and later becomes SOG, Special Studies and Observations Group. That's what it means. That's to throw the layman off to not knowing what it is. You know, they think it's some people in Saigon studying something. Called Studies and Observation Group, called SOG. That's the most classified project in SF, higher than Delta Force.
Really?
SOG.
SOG was the most classified?
Oh yeah, it's most classified. They got operations up north, across borders, wherever.
So their stuff is probably definitely still classified, right?
Huh?
Their stuff is probably still classified.
Oh yeah, a lot of that is.
Now, were you right under Bo when this happened, like in Vietnam?
He was right under me. His camp was south of me. His camp was he's in a camp called Steward.
Okay.
Now Bo was at Delta Force up there a long time. Him and other good friends of mine, they was at Delta Force up there. But
He wasn't your commander at the time.
No, he wasn't my commander, no. But Bo was the commander up there at SOG. He was the project commander there. Bo was like they would go and they would run clear into North Vietnam, right into a POW camp in Vietnam, and they were right into Hanoi Hilton. The prisoners were moved prior to them hitting the target. They had already been moved, you know, in North Vietnam. That was a highly classified operation.
Is that during when John McCain was there?
It probably was. I know he was there quite a while, about 4 years or something. I think he was in the Hanoi Hilton. Whether or not he was in the camp they were going to.
Well, that's where Jane Fonda went too, right?
But,
Hanoi.
and Jane Fonda was all over the camp over there. But and later, when he went to an A camp, he was the commander at Suida, camp called Suida. This was in '65. He was in a camp right south of me. They bring out the Playmate of the Year. They didn't take her to his camp. He had a half team there, and he had a half team up on Nui Ba Dien, which is in Vietnamese, that's Black Virgin Mountain. And that's where they took her. And then they brought her to our camp. So they did take the Playmate of the Year to his camp. So he didn't make Playboy. I made Playboy twice, but he didn't make Playboy. He harassed me about that. But now, she did go to his half team up on Nui Ba Dien. I mean Black Virgin Mountain, on Black Virgin Mountain.
And who was the playmate again? What was her name?
Joe Collins.
Joe Collins.
She was a Playmate of the Year in 1965, I think. Joe Collins.
1968, you said?
No, 65. And then they put me in there 20 years later, again, with the same picture, same story. In Playboy again. I made it again 20 years later.
Did you ever see her again?
Huh?
Did you
no,
ever see
I've
her?
never seen her, no. Not again, no.
Never?
No.
I was just curious.
Well, then my buddy there, Ed Cornett, weapons man, he grabbed her and lip locked her.
Really?
He put one on her.
She
So
smacked
Ed did.
Did she smack him back?
Huh?
Did she smack him back?
No, he grabbed her and laid her down and laid one on her. But when she came to our camp, we had a yard village right outside the camp down there, not very far away, yard village. So we take her down to this yard village, you know, in the 3/4 or whatever we're going down there. So the yard, she got all this material that comes in from the Baptist in North Carolina, and you know, come from North Carolina, clothes and everything. And them yards are all topless. They don't wear bras. And it's funny, they're trying to put a bra on. They all topless. You know, the yards are.
Oh, yards are indigenous people?
You know, the yards they're mountainous people, but they don't wear no bra. They don't wear no panties. They wear a wraparound. That's it, you know. And so they sent the Baptists in North Carolina sent all these boxes and boxes of clothes over there. So we give them to the yards. But they got all these clothes, and there's a bra. They're holding up and laughing and giggling at it. So anyhow, we're telling her, said, oh yeah, beautiful materials. Oh yeah, they make all that. They make that material. We blow smoke up their butt, you know, because they had bulks and bulks of beautiful material come from North Carolina from the Baptists. But we told them, oh yeah, the yards make that material. Beautiful. I said, they make clothes out of that. But we just blowing smoke up their butt. You know, but they believed it though. You know, but they seen all them yards, but then when some of them come out with them bras, that kind of blew their mind. You know, holding it up and laughing. They didn't wear no bra.
Um,
They're all topless. I got pictures of them topless.
any kills that were close quarter combat, such as like hand to hand or anything like that?
Sometimes,
By yourself?
no.
No?
I try to reach out and touch him. I may shoot a guy, and another 3 guys shot the same guy.
Yeah.
You know, they sometimes they got more than one hole.
Mhm.
Our medics are not supposed to deliver babies.
Okay.
They're not supposed to, but they all did.
Mhm.
I had one medic, Paul Payne, he done facelifts. You're not supposed to.
Really? You
He
would,
said after 3 or 4, he got pretty good. But first few, he created a monster or two, you know. But after a while, he got pretty good.
so that lip hair is the thing that.
And I get a lot of hair lips over there,
Mhm.
and he tried to straighten some of them out. But Paul delivered a lot of babies over there, and he done a lot of amputations and things like that. And I've have hold a guy down while he's doing an amputation
Really?
on the leg or whatever, you know. But
Was it an American?
no, you mean the guy we holding down?
Yeah.
No, he's a bad guy.
Oh, he's VC. Okay.
He's doing amputation, so.
VC.
But our medics are not supposed to, but they do. We have 2 SF medics on each team. In Vietnamese, they call that a doctor. They call that a boxy. And a boxy is a doctor. And so everyone in that village knew that we had 2 boxies in that camp. So even though they weren't supposed to deliver a baby, here comes a pregnant woman in the front gate coming to see the boxy. And he couldn't turn her down. He went in and delivered the local village female, that's what she was. But they'd deliver. But he wouldn't turn them down. He'd deliver.
Yeah.
Whether or not he'd get his ass chewed about it or not, he didn't worry about it. He'd deliver.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them got pretty good delivering babies. And a lot of them went on after they got out of SF or got out of the Army. Our medics got a lot of combat experience, and they got a lot of amputation experience, and they got a lot of delivering babies, and some got hair lips. Maybe a few got brain surgery experience. I don't know, a lot of them.
That's insane.
But the thing is, they had the opportunity when they come back, no problem, go to Fort Sam or wherever, and they get right into med school. You know, they get right into med school and turn out to be fine doctors. Some of them, you know, some of them turn out to be brain surgeons. But they look at all the OJT they had. I mean, they had OJT job training. They got OJT in Vietnam, where you're not getting at in the States as a civilian going to school, where they're teaching you in a book, they're learning it on the ground, you know, actually doing it right there. So when they go to Fort, and a lot of doctors don't like to train them at Fort Sam because they're so advanced, the SF medic is, with the combat experience, they're so advanced. Even the head of a lot of the doctors is teaching at Fort Sam. They don't like to teach as SF medics because they're advanced.
Yeah.
Ahead of the guy doing the teaching. That's how good they are.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. You a doctor teaching me at Fort Sam Houston, and here I got all that combat experience doing medicine that you don't have.
Well, it's the difference between railroad training and knowing the book.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
So
somebody that has
all
one
our medics now, even though they go to Fort Sam and then they go to a year OJT in a hospital as a medic in a hospital, after they do Fort Sam, they graduate there, then they go to a hospital somewhere in the U.S. and spend a year in that hospital. When you get that guy back to your A team, you got a qualified medic, especially if you got that combat experience. Our medics, he might not get down to that A team to at least 2 years or 3 years, you know, it depends.
And how long are you on a team for?
I was on A team the whole time I was in SF.
What's an 18?
That's the A team, that's the go team. You got A, B, and C. A team 12 men, B team 24 men or 30 men, C team 60, 80 men. C team supports the B team supports, each B team will support 6 A teams. And you got 6 A teams under a B team, and in the B teams under the C teams. You got 3 B teams under C team.
C teams are like your battalion headquarters.
Yeah,
C teams have your battalion commander, XO, that kind of stuff.
it is.
B teams are like your headquarters company, your support
Your
folks,
support. Okay.
So
combo guys,
underneath that C team,
logistics.
and that core area, it come under the group headquarters in the train or wherever. So you got 4 core area in Vietnam. You got 4 corps, 1, 2, 3, 4. And each core area will have a C team. That's the head of the core area. Underneath that C team will be either 4 or 6. I think it might be 6 B teams. I'm not sure, 4 or 6. Anyhow, each B team will have 6 A teams, each one.
Hmm.
So that's what you've got in country,
Okay.
you know.
And
So you support the C team, supports the B team, supports the A team. A team is the go team. That's the one that does the act. That's how the B team got in trouble at B-34 at Song Bay. They're supposed to be in support, but Charlie decided to come in and support them.
Hmm.
That's how they got shot up. That's how they got Purple Hearts painted on their refrigerator and freezer. Plus, they don't have really much of a defense force in that B team in that little town.
really?
Yeah, but you're in a little town. Charlie ain't supposed to be coming in that little town.
Hmm.
But Charlie come right in town. And you got security on that little area, and you got sleeping quarters down through there. What I done when they put me down there, so I was in there about a month before I went to dog supply. First thing I done is got them 2.75 rockets, sawed off the end, got pops on, and I started laying in 2.75 out on each side with claymore clackers, coat hanger wire, and I engraved there to Charlie Would Love, USSF. I put all them 2.75 pointing out so they know I arrived in town. Because they didn't have that there, so I put it in on that B team. Hey, I take Pop Son over there and all them canisters, and I take the thing they come in, I made launchers out of them and cement them in place, bore sighted, and I just put them in that way, and you got a clacker, you clack off 4 of them dudes. And you start launching off 2.75s out of that place.
And they stay hot the whole time.
Overrun. I didn't want to see it get overrun again.
Yeah.
So I put them I loaded them up. And they're still there for as I know. You know?
And they stay hot the whole time too.
Huh?
They stay hot the whole time, don't they?
All you do is put your clacker on it because I use coat hanger. The coat hanger wire, and all you do hook up to your coat hanger, to your clacker. John, I put them all the way around that B team on both sides with that B team compound. That B team compound was only about 50 foot wide. It wasn't very wide. And, you know, about 200 foot long. So I put them claymores pointing out. I paid Pop's son to do the cement work. I done design, showed him what I wanted, and we went from there.
How long were your operations usually? Like when you went out?
It varied overnighter to a week.
How far would you guys go out of the fob or the fire base?
Camp.
500 meters, 1,000 meters, you may go out. Like them dummies went down there 40-something thousand meters I had to go support.
Okay.
They was out about 40 clicks, 50 clicks.
You guys didn't have to worry about IEDs or anything like that, right?
Yeah, we did.
Really?
That's why I went at high rate of speed. See, we got 4 or 5 SF got killed on that road. That's why I went high rate of speed. And that's why Ace and I were 30 cal. It'd take a claymore and rig up. They had punji stakes on the side. If you jump out of your Jeep, you're in trouble there.
Yeah.
But they take claymores and instead of IEDs, it depends upon what they had to make an IED out of. They usually a claymore or something like that.
Oh, they would take a claymore and just
You know?
repurpose it?
They have claymores, they have mortar rounds, anything they can get.
Did you ever have to go into the what they say, the rat tunnels? Is that what they are?
I didn't do no tunnel work. I sent Schmuck in there to do that. I sent one of them boats in there.
Okay, I was wondering who Schmuck
And
was.
he bring me out 6 weapons. He bring me out a Sten, he bring me out a Thompson, bring me out a shotgun. I had a 12 gauge shotgun, I had a Sten.
Did he get in the firefight during that time?
Oh, he just went there to get them.
Oh, so there was nobody in there in the tunnel.
No, we done took care of them.
Because that's freaking scary. Thinking there's somebody like you're just crawling through the tunnel and you're just waiting for you.
Hey, no, we done took care of them people in that tunnel. They're all Finney. When you're in charge on an SF combat operation, you're the MFIC. You're it.
Yeah.
You make the decisions. You don't call in and get nobody's permission.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know,
Mhm.
you call in, you got some dummy second lieutenant on the other end. You know?
No, you can't listen to
Yeah,
that.
you don't call in.
Well,
Hey, if you got fast movers up there, you need them, you get them. You got their freak and everything. You talking to them.
Yeah.
You got a flight of them coming in. You put them where you want them. You give them an azimuth and tell them where you are. Give them an azimuth, and they fly right over you and they put the stuff over there.
Mhm.
But you make the decisions. You're it. You're the captain. You're the sergeant. You everything.
Yep.
And you know what the headset, that handset is to God. You can talk to God on that.
So you learn everybody's job.
I give you the PRC 25, you carry that.
cross train.
Because I'll outrank you. You carry that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I may come over and talk on your radio, but you're going to carry it. 'Cause I
Maybe
told
whisper
you
in
to.
your ear too.
I'm the sergeant, And you're the private or the spec 4 or whatever. You
But
know?
all the SF guys were all NCOs though, right?
Oh yeah. Well, some were spec 4s.
Really?
Yeah. Some of them maybe PFCs.
I thought they automatically got E5 when they graduated.
No automatic. When you first come to SF, when you're taking the training to qualify for your full flash, you get a little candy bar. That's the bottom portion of that flash. That's all that's there.
Mhm.
That picture up there, if you go look at it, you see I got a little candy bar thing there. That's before I got the full flash. Now, once you get the full flash, you're full flash in every group. But if you're E4, it's just a matter of time. You'll be E5 as soon as you finish it. Especially if you become a medic and you take a year of medical school, and you will probably be E6 before you know it.
Mhm.
You know, say a year in Fort Sam, and another year in a hospital. By the time you hit the group, not 18, you're probably going to be at E6.
So did you go to airborne school before Vietnam?
Yeah, I went to jump school first.
What about free fall? Halo.
I got that Halo in '64.
Oh, so right before Vietnam.
Well, the reason I got it, I'd made General's Orderly 5 times in a row, the best on guard mount, and I didn't have to pull guard. School of choice, Halo. That's how I got it. School of choice. The sharpest one on guard mount.
What is guard now?
To pull guard, to go
Oh.
pull guard. Like,
See, in the Army before your time, we used to have to do shit like that.
They,
You didn't.
KP.
I
In the
pulled
guard,
KP
and then
too.
you do that. Yeah, you had to do
But the
details.
sharpest guy on that guard don't have to pull no guard. So all of a sudden I've done that 5 times in a row or whatever. School of choice. I go in and see the operation the operations sergeant. Where you want to go to school? Halo. That's where I went.
Remember like Firewatch and
Yeah,
basic.
yeah.
I
In
could
the regular units, you do that stuff all the time.
any school I wanted to. Halo. That's how I got it. Because that's hard to get. Halo in.
Yeah, it's not too common, even
Hey,
today.
That's hard. Everybody wants it.
Yeah.
I could have went to Ranger School. I could have went to Halo.
Pathfinder.
I got it in there. But I got Halo.
That's smart.
Hey, that's fun. That's a fun school.
Yeah.
All you do is jump.
How long was that school?
About 6 weeks or something. 6 or 8 weeks or something. We jumped every day usually. We had bad weather. We didn't jump. Good weather. We jumped 2 times. Most we jumped twice, same day.
Did you have language training before Vietnam?
I took Vietnamese, French, and Creole
Okay.
before now. So when I got there, I was cha on my yard home. Joy my yard coming home. That's all Vietnamese. To a married woman, cha ba, my yard. And you want to meet a young girl, you go, cha ko my yard. How are you? Cha ko is a young girl, you know. Cha ko. You're saying hello to that young girl. Say, ko my yard, coming on. Muy bonita. A little Spanish jump in there.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, Benito's Spanish.
That jumps in there too.
If there happens, 5 languages, you just kind of
Mix it all together.
A beer or two, and they go good together. If you're going to be deployed, and if you're going to Thailand, you take Thai. If you're going to Central American country and Latin American country, you take Espanol. You take that Monterey, Presidio Monterey. Now Thai I took in Fort Bragg. Vietnamese I took at Bragg. French I took at Bragg, and Creole I took at Bragg. Operation Intelligence, Fort Holabird and Fort Huachuca. Intel School at Holabird, and Halo, you go to Langley with a CIA school. That belongs to the CIA. That's their school. I went to Langley for the Halo up there. Bragg and also at Langley. The Intel school up there at Langley, that's CIA. That's CIA school. But the Holabird and CIA go there.
Okay.
But the Presidio Monterey teaches all them languages. They do. They speak them all out there. You may want to take an advanced course. You may say go to Holabird and then the advanced course at Fort Huachuca, Arizona. That's an Operation Intelligence School, Fort Huachuca.
What would you consider the hardest thing that you did while deployed in Vietnam?
Combat.
I was not meaning general, I meant like a specific example of something hard that you had to do.
Something I had to do hard. Combat. That's the hardest thing I ever did, is to go down that
Okay,
road.
so that road was the hardest thing you
That's
did.
the hardest thing I did.
Okay.
I never want to do that again,
Okay.
because I know we had 5 people killed out there on that road in a Jeep going down that road. So I went, the closest village was Budak. Budak was about 5 miles. That's where we got the name Budak for our camp, from the name of that village, Budak, Buduc. 5 miles down there in that gravel road, 5 miles, Charlie gonna eat your ass up. And that's the hardest thing I ever did, because I had to go from our camp to about 50 clicks out, or whatever what it was. And I had to come back the same way. You're setting a pattern.
Yeah, you
I
don't.
just went that way and I gotta come back this way.
Yeah, you got to go.
So
one
Charlie
road.
here, senior, he go gets his buddies, they come back and set up an ambush. Here you come back again.
That's like our firefight.
He got you.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing I ever did. I never want to do that again. And I still have thoughts about that and nightmares about that crap. Because I just knew after I hosed their ass down going down
You're
there,
gonna come
I
back.
know he gonna be waiting on me when I come back.
Mhm.
And we come back high rate of speed. We're running 70 mile an hour down that WM38 Jeep.
Did GCB go 70 miles an hour? Because I can barely get mine up to like 60.
Hey, all things sticking up is that A6 and that pod holding it.
Did you guys wear the berets, or did you guys wear helmets or like a boonie cap?
No, we wore a go to hell hat. It's just a soft cap, camouflage. Wore tiger stripes and a go to hell hat. We didn't wear no helmet. Now I wore a helmet then when I went on Jeep ride. I wore a helmet.
I probably wish you had body armor. Did you wear a flak vest during that time
Oh,
too?
yeah. When I went down through there, but I didn't wear it out in the bush.
Mhm.
It's too hot.
Yeah, you probably sweated everything
I
out.
wore it when I went on that joyride. You know,
What would the ambush be if it was? Would it be small arms fire? Would it be machine gun? Would it be like claymores, bungee sticks?
claymore. No, it'd be claymores, and they put out punches in case you jump out the other way in a ditch or something, try to get away. They'd put in bamboo punches, but they'd open up with claymores on you, and their AKs of what they had, probably M16s.
Yeah, I was seeing that a lot of times. Like the punchy sticks, they would get you, and they would get like the feet, and they would
And around
infect it with like fecal matter, so we get
around
infected.
they put crap on them, but around our A camp, we had thousands of them sticking out all the way around our camp.
The punchy sticks.
Yeah, we put them in all the way around the camp. You try to get in through the wire, you got to get in through the wire, get in past the punchy stakes, and crawl through that wire, and that's where we got the claymore. You're crawling through, and you see this thing said, face this direction. It's coming at you.
A big old smiley face on it.
Oh yeah. That's what I do when I painted them, had them cement things. I'd do some artistic work on them.
Flowers and stuff.
Not to Charlie would love, USSF. I ain't sign it. I take my pen after that guy got doing the cement work, and oh, it was a bad experience, John. Something I didn't want to repeat every day.
I'm sure. Something you wouldn't do once.
Well, for a year I slept with a 45 shoved down in my crotch, loaded.
Surrounded by skulls.
Hey, I had a round in the chamber, safety on, and that's the way I slept. I slept like this. I didn't sleep on my side,
But you didn't have the hammer back. The safety was still on.
hammer back, safety on.
The only way you can put the safety on the 45, 1911. Hammer has to be back.
Really?
Yeah,
The only way the safety will be turned on.
I didn't know that.
yeah. Round ready to do some business.
Sucks if you sleepwalk then.
You don't sleepwalk.
You don't sleepwalking now.
There's
If you're in the jungle,
rats
hey.
and smoke.
if you're in the jungle, you roll over on your side and pee and stay in place. And dummy ones would get up in hammocks.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep no hammock. Oh yeah, I had a rat getting right in the bed with me. Feel it crawling down my back. You come out of that bunk. And now, when I'm come all through the outer perimeter, about a 12-foot cobra, all through the outer perimeter, inner perimeter, and into the center of camp before we killed him. At
Where-
night.
Were they in your ammo pit there?
Yeah.
Mortar pit?
Hey, in the mortar pit. It's in the mortar pit. So Papa Son went in there and killed that dude, took that 81 Amy stake that made out of steel, that red and white one, and got him in the head. We stretched him out,
See those
and
pictures?
I got the picture with the weapons man and somebody else holding it up. I was about 12 foot. I want to be down on the ground. I don't want to be up no hammock.
So
I would rather be up with like snakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Snakes were gonna get me.
bullets flying, that's why you don't be in a
Yeah,
hammock.
I have to get my butt low to the ground. You're up in a hammock and you're silhouetted. I got as close as I could get. I tried to get deeper. Couldn't get no deeper. But if I had to pee, I'd roll over and pee in place. When we was preparing for the operation on the POW rescue,
What year was this?
this was 80 or 81, I think. Yeah, 81. I didn't know who was financing it. I know a guy by the name of Ross Perot, I think, gave Bo some money. I don't know how much. I got no idea. But Clint Eastwood did give him a check for 30 grand. And with a stipulation, if they ever did anything on the big screen, he'd like to be one to do it. You know, he mentioned that to her. But no strings attached, just 30 grand. But now, the operation, if it would have went, we had our assets. We did have assets from the U.S. government. We had flat tops in the Gulf of Tonkin. We could launch off the Gulf as one way we was going in. That was the primary way. Plus, we had fast movers upstairs and Jolly Green upstairs with miniguns. And it was a short. The isthmus of Vietnam is real thin. So if you're sitting in the Gulf of Tonkin on a flat top, bring in the rescue force to the flat top. Then you could prepare, get ready to launch right off that flat top. And you can jump the fence across Nam. There's a real short isthmus and right in the Laos. We'd shoot right for the target. And at that time, our assets would be upstairs.
You had a satellite
We had all satellite technology I got from the CIA.
proving they were alive.
Yeah, we identified 25 or 30 in the camp as American by the size, I didn't, the CIA did, by the size of the shadow on the ground. They could identify that technology.
The height of them.
The height of them. So we identified them as
That sounds a bit racist,
25 or 30 Caucasians.
It's a bit racist, I think.
You know, we identified them as Caucasians, 25 to 30 of them in that camp. And so the mission, if it would have went right, well, then we'd have launched out of Gulf of Tonkin off a flat top, probably on Chinooks, and they got miniguns on there, and they got fast movers upstairs, and we could just right across the border, hit the target in and out, you know. If everything went good, but sometimes things don't go as you plan.
Never do.
But anyhow, that was the way we was going to go in. That's the way we planned to go in. But we had other ways in case we couldn't come back out of there and head towards the flat top. Then we'd go to a neutral country with the POWs.
Now you had to actually get out of the army for this mission too, right?
Yeah,
Eventually.
yeah, I got out. Yeah, that's the reason I got out. I had orders in my hand to go back 10th Group in Fort Carson, Colorado. I want to go to Colorado anyhow. I had orders in hand. I've been at ASU, Mom, 3 years? It was 3 years in ASU? 4 years. And I had orders in hand. I requested to go 10th Group.
We were there 77, 81.
And Bo asked me to do the area study, and I put that together. And then he came over to visit me, and I took him and his wife to ASU as my guest. We had a ROTC dance or something, a banquet or something. I had used some. I was a senior NCO. I had the arranging unit there, so I had access to all the mimeograph machine, copy machines, all that. And I'd go up there at night. I had keys, I could go in. And we'd go in there and put that area study together. So when we went to Florida, I had area study in hand, in briefcase, and 6 or 8 copies of what I made. And they were really big, and area study covers the military, geography, terrain, custom, military, taboos, everything about the country that you need to know about that particular country. Normally, it launched like that, then we'd go to a preschool for Lao or whatever, and we'd learn the language. But we didn't have time for that because we wanted to get in there in a hurry. So we'd take a Laotian interpreter with us, you know.
Was Bo already out of the army when this was
Yeah,
going on?
that's the reason he got out for the same thing. See, he got out to do the mission, and the government wanted to control and run it, and he didn't want the dude that run the Sante raid. He wanted Bo to work for him, and Bo knew him, and Bo didn't want to do it. Bo wouldn't run the mission, and so Bo was given the mission. So then he selected his own people, all people he knew and served with or whatever. And even though we had our support and everything, we did had Ross Perot gave him X number of dollars, I don't know how much, but I don't know how much other money came in, but You know, if you feed 25 people 3 meals a day and PT and running 5 miles every morning, doing martial arts, karate, whatever all day, training all day, you know, and feed them 3 meals a day, you go through some money.
What was
But
the egress?
Mormons, huh?
What was the egress for that mission? What was the plan to get them out? The POWs.
Who, you mean the aircraft?
The plan to get them out.
Oh,
The POWs. What was the plan to get them out of the country?
Oh, out of the country. We had a primary and alternate. Primary, we're going to bring in the aircraft off that flat top and go directly to the flat top with fast mover escort C-130s upstairs, giving us cover. Another plan we come up with, instead of going to flat top, can't go there. Alternate plan, we go to a neutral country, get off, and these are all American POWs, and just get off right there into a neutral country that we had relations with. We wasn't going to North Vietnam, but we had 2 or 3 plans to come out. We'd take them out of there on a flat top, and there we'd take them to Hawaii and then to the States. But and the 25 or so people that was doing the raid, then they would go back and be disbanded and get their final paycheck or whatever. Everybody's going to get a paycheck on the other end.
Yeah.
And we got a check on the front end to handle us while we were gone. We'd get a check there, and then we'll get a final check when we come back. We wasn't doing it for $250,000 or $500,000 or anything like that. It's just going to be very minimum for money-wise.
Yeah, because you're trying to get guys out.
That's why when I asked my wife, "What do you think?" and my mother was coming out at that time too.
She was there with us already.
And was she? Anyhow,
You couldn't tell
I
her.
couldn't mention it to my mother where I was going. Don knew, Carol knew, Troy didn't. I was going to Florida training, you know, and the mission didn't go. So then, after all the training and everything, then I think Bo paid for all our flights out of the funds that he had. I think that's where our flight come from, and then he paid our flight home out of there too. I think out of that money, and so every what money he had working with, we'd going through it like crap through the goose.
It was a very dangerous mission.
The Mormons, we brought down the weapons. The weapons were 22 subsonic machine guns, fast move. We test fired them. They were like 300 rounds or 400 round drum, 22 subsonic, and you give a guy a burst of 50, and he didn't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just paint him. What we call painting him.
Yeah.
We'd paint the targets with a burst. Anyhow, we're going to have to buy them weapons from the Mormons. The Mormons were producing weapons in Salt Lake in Utah.
Like the Mormons were making weapons?
Oh, sure. They do it. Don't tell nobody.
It was a very dangerous mission, so he
That's
asked
what you
me.
keep saying, but you mentioned the Mormons and Romney
Yeah.
and
He
Well-
asked me what did I think about him going. I said if it was you over there, I would want somebody to go, even though he might not come back trying to retrieve somebody. It was something he needed to do
because they were over there.
because they were alive. They were alive.
The
They
weapons
left
were
a
$3
lot of
grand
them
a
over there.
piece. Yeah, they were $3 grand a piece for the weapons, and the ones we test fired.
And it got canceled, the mission, because of Reagan getting shot, right?
Well, I don't know what all caused it to get canceled, but we got canceled for our end because it said the mission was given to Delta Force. And so we told Delta Force, if you can't do it, we can. And so then Delta Force never done the mission. So the mission went down the tube, and then people went down the tube. Never got them.
When was the last time that people heard from them?
I got no idea.
The POWs.
See, I broke off contact with my CIA rep that provided me maps and all that shit. So he ain't telling me nothing. He ain't telling me the last contact or nothing. He was in my support as long as he was there, in my chain for supply, for maps and everything else. They supplied all that.
And the
But intel and everything else
the POWs were at what camp? What country?
in Laos.
In Laos.
In Laos, yeah. Not far in Laos, too. It wasn't that far in.
So they were Laotian, the Viet Cong there holding them still?
Probably Laotians holding them, or Vietnamese and Laotians both. I
Were
don't know.
they trying to ransom it off, or they were just like holding them?
No, they was in support of the Viet Cong. They had a bunch of Laotians supporting the Viet Cong.
But the Vietnam
It
War
was-
had been over for
That's what we
years.
call Path Lao.
But it had been over for like 6 years though, right?
Hey, the Sante raid went down the tube. That was a fiasco. They had up and moved all the intel there, to get ready to launch on the target. 3 days before you're going to hit the target, they've been moved over here. They went in a Sante raid. A lot of people got killed, but they didn't get the Americans. The Americans are over here. They got moved because the right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing. So they go in there and they kill a bunch of people, and a bunch of people got killed. SF run that operation. They run that one.
Did you ever think about going to the country now and seeing what was there?
No, not really. I don't want to go back. There's too many bad memories in there.
I'm sure.
Too many bad memories.
I was just curious, if you ever saw like where the prison was.
I
and
laid,
POW
I
camp.
laid too many pieces of wood on too many Cambodes that I have cremate, and I wouldn't want to go back and see that. They, I always wondered, we had, to one interpreter I had, I always thought a lot of, I always wondered what happened to him. But once the Americans pulled out, I'm sure the North Vietnamese or the Viet Cong assassinated him once they found out he was working for Americans. He used to work for the CIA, and then we got him from the CIA, and he worked for us.
Yeah.
And I like how he spoke 7, 8 different languages. He spoke GI slang, he spoke American, French, he spoke Vietnamese, he spoke, I don't know, 5, 6, he spoke Cambodian. I've taken my little PNW when I had a PNW shot half frames, and always had a PNW with me. And they could shoot up like 72 pictures, half frame over 35. And we got 3, 4, 5 bodies laying there. If we're leaving them there, I'll make their picture, and then the animals take care of them. Now if the ones were alive, we bring back and interrogate, if they're alive. But we didn't make a habit of capturing too many. Sometimes we get 1 or 2, But anyhow, we had a Clint Eastwood connection, we had the Borman connection, and we had a Ross Perot connection there. And I don't know who all else may have funded money to Bo to support that operation. We're trying to do it through on the civilian without asking the U.S. government for the money. But we did get support for air assets and flat top and fast movers and shit like that. It's in the area. We get all that support we wanted, Mainly we spoke the same language, and they're up there too, But we would have went there. We would, if we had launched out of California, if we had launched out of Florida. Since we was in Florida, we'd probably launched by aircraft right out of Florida, I'd say, and probably with an unmarked CIA aircraft, most likely. Jet or whatever. That's why Clint Eastwood told Bo, he said, he would give him a check for 30 grand. He said, no strings attached. But if you ever decide to do a thing on the big screen, I'd like to be the one to do it. They gave him 30 grand, no strings attached. You don't find many people do that.
No.
And I don't know how much money Ross Perot gave us, I don't know.
Probably a lot.
I got no idea. But Bo never said, so I didn't inquire.
There's also the script around Hollywood of Bo with the U-2 spy plane too.
Yeah.
There's that script rolling around.
Well, the U-2, they may do something with that one of these days.
I think it's called the Black Box is what it's called.
Yeah. That's all in his book anyhow, That's that whole story is in his book called The Serb.
Yeah, and they didn't take any prisoners for that one either, did they?
Huh?
They didn't take any prisoners for that one, did they?
No. But that he done, he was in charge of the Mobile Guerrilla Force. They the one that had done that mission. He had the Mobile Guerrilla Force. So he was at MACV-SOG. He was at Delta Project, training people, Delta Project.
He basically was the only American in that mission, right?
No, there was more than that on it.
Really?
There's more than that on that mission. I'd have to go back and to the book and check. There was more than that on it. But that would make a good movie because they found the U-2, They found that U-2. And they took that black box out of, they went to the village where the black box was because the BC or whoever already took the black box out. But then they went to that village and they got that black box and then they greased all them people. They killed all them people. But that'd be making of a good movie. That's just like if we'd run that operation and come out of there with those Americans. Hey, we'd have had a book deal, movie deal, and every other kind of deal, I said, well, I'll be in Hollywood having Brad Pitt play my part.
Well, yeah, Brad Pitt. I think he'd have been a good fit for Dad. At least he was humble about it. I hope you enjoy that. You see, I'm wearing his dog tag, and I'm wearing this this necklace here. This tiger claw necklace. If you were go back and look at those pictures and watch this later, you'll see this around his neck. Obviously, the dog tag. You'll see this in a lot of pictures of Vietnam. This is the original one he wore all through his tours, and it's still up to the day that he passed. But this is that necklace that is obviously, as you saw, many of his pictures he was shirtless, which I guess in that heat, that's what you're going to do. And you know he was in good shape. So, but he may have only had a towel and a 45 stuck in his towel, but he had this necklace on all the time. So I just want to put this on and just honor him. I hope you enjoyed it. I've heard it so many times. I did a lot of editing, trimmed down, got rid of a lot of blank spaces. He would think about stuff and just try to shorten this as much as possible. But it's still awesome. I was just sitting here and just, taking it in and just feeling him here with me. Just, hearing him talk to me again, hearing that his jokes, his mannerisms and everything else, and it was like he's never left. So I was hoping I'd hold it together, but I hope you enjoyed it. This was his story. Hope you heard it loud and clear, and I hope you enjoyed it. Share it with anybody that you like, because he'll never be able to tell the stories again. And thank you so much to my son John for doing this. Had he not had the foresight to do this, these stories would be lost, which is why we're doing this series, to capture them before they're gone forever. So thank you all. Have a good night, and God bless. We'll see you all on Thursday night on our regular Stu and the Nun Show.